Okay, so yesterday I posted this. Obviously, you guys had all the answers, but I worked it out yesterday. I want to go over a couple things. I know some of you were having questions on number 4, why your answer wasn't matching, that sort of thing. Guys, remember, when you have a radical in the denominator, you have to rationalize. So we cannot forget that. Number 4, you had to rationalize the denominator. Then when you added your fractions or subtract your fractions, you have to get a common denominator. And then here at this step, when we were dividing both sides by 3, remember dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1/3. So that's what they did to get the answer of -10 plus minus root 10 over 6. A bunch of questions on that one. I want to make sure I showed you guys that one. Same thing here. How did we get square root of 3 over 3? Well, when you took the square root of 1/3, you guys were left with 1 over root 3, and we rationalized there, so we didn't have the root anymore. You guys see the difference between number 2 being no solution and number 8 being all reals. All right, when you come out with an untrue math statement, 0 equals 4, that is not a true math statement. That's why that one's no solution. And then here, when the left-hand side equals the right-hand side, that's all reals. Do you guys understand that? Tomorrow's all solving. So everything you do, what can you do with your answer to make sure you got it right? You can plug it back in. All right, if we look at the next section, number 10, I got an answer. I got an answer of x equals -4. But what do you have to check when you are solving rationals? You got to make sure the denominator what? Does not become 0. All right, we're going to do a couple of examples here. Go through the class kick, just talk, make sure we're on the same page. So as we're going, if you have questions, please stop me. Feel free. I'll answer anything after we're done. I just want to make sure that we cover everything. So, all right, look at number 1, guys. If you look at this problem, this is a quadratic. First of all, how do we know it's a quadratic? Because it's raised to what power? Second power, okay. We will talk about the quadratic formula next week. We'll finish completing the square. Remember, that's not on your quiz. We're just solving here. So we're either going to solve by taking square roots or solve by factoring. If you have a quadratic where you have x to the second power and then x to the first power, you want to move everything to one side and then solve. So 5x squared minus 12x, what? Plus 4 equals 0. So now if we see if this factors, 5 times 4 gives me what number? 20. Are there factors of 20 that multiply to give me 20 but add to give me 12? What are they? 10 and 2. Okay, so x minus 10 and x minus 2. You guys agree? Again, if you don't factor when a is not 1 this way, don't do it this way. But I like to say, oh, okay, I forget that, or I can't forget, I should say, that my a term is 5. So I'm going to divide out. I have x minus 2 and 5x minus 2. Set equal to 0. You guys agree? So you have two answers here. You have x equals 2 and x equals what? 2 over 5. And what can we do with both of those? Plug it back in. Good. Questions? You good? All right, scooting along, scooting along. I have my binomial squared. Guys, don't FOIL this out. God bless you, don't FOIL this out and then try to factor it, see what happens. Guys, if you have your binomial squared, is there anything being added, subtracted, or multiplied or divided to that binomial? No. So how do we get rid of the squared? Take the square root. Good. When you physically put the square root on a number, what do you put in front of your answer? Plus or minus. Now, at this point, if you want to break down 48, go ahead. If you want to wait and do it at the end, that's fine as well. But I'm trying to isolate my x. So if I'm trying to get x all by itself, what are the two things I need to do? We're going to add 1 and then divide by -3. Good. I'm going to put my 1 here, so plus minus root 48. And then I'm going to divide by -3. So I have x equals 1 plus minus the square root of 48 over 3. What did I not complete yet? I got to simplify. When I simplify this a tad bit more, I'm going to break down root 48. The biggest perfect square and non-perfect square in 48 would be what? What times what's going to give me 48? 16 and 3. What is the square root of 16? So this becomes x equals 1 plus minus 4 root 3 over negative 3. Can I simplify any more? Yes or no? No. Okay, guys, if you ended up with something like this, like 2 over 6 plus minus root 4, can you simplify a little bit? Yes. How you simplify is very important. If you're going to simplify something like this, it would have to be 1 over 3 plus minus root 4 over what? 6. You can't just say, oh, 2 goes into 2 once and 2 goes in here 3 times. That's not, you cannot do that. You have to separate. There's 2 terms in the numerator, so you have to put them both over the same denominator. Questions?
So once it's like the root 4, we just make it.
Oh, I don't know why I picked root. I should have picked any other number in the world. Sorry. Let's just say it's 5. I wasn't even thinking that square root of 4 is 2. Yeah, if it's a perfect square, break it down. I was just, denominator sake is what I was looking at. So if you have your class kit pulled up, all right, we're going to just review different methods of solving. We're going to get through these as quickly as we can, that sort of a thing. If you have a question like, where's number 1? All right, number 3, same exact problem. We're going to do it the same exact way. How do you get that square to go away? Take the square root. When you physically put the square root on, what goes in front of your answer? Plus minus, good. Again, you can simplify now or you can wait till the end, doesn't matter. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides, yeah? 3x equals negative 5 plus minus root 48. And then divide by 3. So x equals negative 5 plus minus, what am I going to change 48 into? 4 root 3 over 3. See if you can simplify. If you can, great. If you can't, no big deal. How's 4 a little bit different from the ones we've been doing? There's not an x of first power. There's no b term. So in a case like this, this isn't a factoring problem. I mean, it could be. If you guys wanted to, I'll do this 2 different ways. Can I subtract 9 from both sides? Can I do that? And I get 5x squared, what? Minus 15 equals 0. And then if we were to factor it, what's the GCF? So take out your 5, you're left with x squared, what? Minus 3. And then you do what with each piece? You set it equal to 0, so 5 equals 0. X cubed minus 3 equals 0. You guys agree? Does 5 ever equal 0? No. What happens here? Add 3 to both sides, so x squared equals 3. And then we do what? Take the square root. When you put the square root on, what goes in front? Plus or minus root 3. Yep.
What if you add 6?
I'm going to in 1 second. I'm just showing there's 2 different ways to do it. So that's perfect. If you want to get into, I'm just going to factor everything. Fine. Move everything to one side of the equal sign and factor. But if you are without a b term is the x to the first power. Joyce said, well, wait, can't you just add 6 to both sides? Sure. 5x squared equals how much? 15. Now what? Divide by 5. Good. X squared equals 3. And then what? Take the square root. So x equals plus minus root 3. Did I get the same answer? Yes. Does it algebraically make sense? Yes. So we're good to go. That's fine. Either way. Questions? Everybody's okay? All right. Good talk. Good talk. Here we go. Number 5. Well, what should we do here? How should we start? I see x's on both sides of my equal sign. Everything's to the first power though, right? So, okay, that's good. So where would you guys like to start? Tell me, Angel. Okay, you want to distribute the 2/3? You can do that. What else can we do? Paul?
Multiply by 3.
Multiply by 3. Why would you do that?
To get rid of the fraction.
To get rid of the fraction. Fine. What else? What's one more thing we could do? We could distribute the 2/3. We could multiply by 3. What else could we multiply both sides by? 3 over 2. Any way that you guys want to do that, personal preference, I'm going to get rid of the fraction and just multiply everything by 3. You guys all right with that? So this 3 cancels out here. So I'm left with 2 times x minus 1. And then when I multiply this side by 3, it's going to be 3 times negative x minus 5. Because remember, this is together. So you're multiplying both sides by 3. Then, yes, we will distribute the 3. So this becomes 2x minus 2. Yeah? And this becomes negative 3x minus 15. Now, nothing is squared. I don't have an x squared and an x to the first power, so I'm just going to move letters to the left and numbers to the right. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides, and then I'm going to add 2. So on the left-hand side, 2x and 3x gives me 5x. My 2's cancel. Negative 3x, positive 3x cancel. What's negative 15 and a positive 2? Perfect. And then what? Divide by 5. If I got x equals negative 2 here or something like that, you guys would just plug it back in and take 2 seconds. You guys get negative 13 over 5, you're like, nah, I'll just assume I'm right. I'll just hope, right? So some of you guys do. If you get done early and you have the extra time, would you just take a minute to check? Just check. All right, same kind of problem here. There's a lot going on. Don't try to do too much at one time. Simplify one side, simplify the other. What? Oh, you guys don't have it all? Sure. All right, so shall we begin? Distribute what? That negative 4. Very good. That is a negative 4. So I have my negative 3x minus 4x plus 4 plus 2 equals negative 8. You guys agree? All right, what can we combine? Negative 3 and negative 4 gives me negative 7x. What's 4 plus 2? Good. Plus 6 equals negative 8. Now what? We're going to subtract the 6 from both sides. So negative 7x equals negative 14. Divide by negative 7. And x equals what? 2. All right, look at these two answers, guys. Very different. It is quite possible that you'll get a nice, pretty whole number. Perfect. It's also quite possible that you'll get a gnarly looking fraction. And that's okay. Some of you, I watch you guys work, you immediately start to panic a little bit because the number's not as pretty as you think it should be. Trust yourself, and that's why this is a really good opportunity for you to go back and check your work. It would be very beneficial. Anything else? All right, here we go. Last ones. Same thing. Simplify the left-hand side, then worry about moving stuff all over the place. So the first thing we need to do is what? Distribute that negative 2. Okay, perfect. So negative 2x minus 8 plus 3x equals x minus 9. Now, I have seen some of you, not because you don't know any better, but because you're not paying attention, you go like this. Don't copy this down, but you go, okay, plus 2x, plus 2x, plus 2x. Is that correct? No. Guys, before you start moving stuff to the other side and trying to undo and all that good stuff, you've got to simplify. Simplify this left-hand side. I have a negative 2x and a positive 3x. What does that give you? Negative 2 plus 3? 1, okay, 1x, okay, minus 8 equals x minus 9. Now, I think I see something here, but I'm not going to just jump the gun. I'm going to continue the problem just to make sure that I don't make a silly mistake. I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and I'm going to add 8 to both sides. You guys agree with me? Yes? So what happens over here? My x's cancel, and so does this. This becomes 0, yeah? On the right-hand side, x's cancel. This becomes what? Negative 1. What does that tell me? No solution. Is that okay? Yes. Guys, if you get no solution, don't leave your untrue statement. Don't leave 0 equals negative 1 and then expect me to be like, oh yeah, they totally understand that means no solution. If it's no solution, state no solution. If it's all real numbers, state all real numbers. Is there a possibility that you could get one no solution and one all real numbers on your quiz? Absolutely. Is there a possibility that you don't get either? Absolutely. Is there a possibility that there's 10 questions and 8 of them are no solution or all reals? Probably not. Start to panic if you get that. Just a little FYI. Although in high school I did have a teacher that would do crazy stuff like that just to make us go nuts. Super. All right, rationals. Rationals is a grown-up thing for fractions, okay? First thing we need to do is what? Okay, let's factor and find a common denominator. So this is the same as x plus 2x minus 2, correct? So our common denominator is going to be a combination of x plus 2x minus 2. So look at your first fraction. It has the x minus 2. What is it missing on the bottom? X plus 2. What you multiplied to the bottom, you multiplied to the top. My second fraction has both. We're good to go. The other side of the equal sign, my third fraction, has the x plus 2. What is it missing? X minus 2 and x minus 2. All right, now that we all have a common denominator, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Left side's the same as the right-hand side. We're good. So you have 4 times x plus 2. What's that sign in the middle? Minus. Should I write it like this? Why not? Yes, remember, your terms and your fractions are stuck together with plus and minus signs. Put parentheses around everything. If you miss that one step, your whole problem is wrong. Because what do you have to do with that negative side? You have to distribute it. We're going to distribute out front here. So I have 4x plus 8. Then what? Minus 2x what? Equals 5x minus 10. All right. Have we combined everything on the left-hand side? Is everything simplified on the left? No, I have 4 x's and I'm taking 2 of them away. How many does that leave me with? 2x. And then I have a positive 8 and a positive 3. What does that give me? Positive 11. Good. Equals 5x minus 10. Now what? Okay, you want to subtract 5x from both sides? I agree. And then we're going to subtract 11. So what do we have? Negative 3x. Negative 21. And now what? Divide by negative 3. X equals 7. That one's not so bad, so you'll probably check that one, right? How do we feel? Okay, good. Tomorrow,